Well, hello everybody. Thanks for tuning in to JEDIOSHI. Today is Monday, January 10th. We're going to look at some charts today. I had wanted to go over a weekly review with you. Look at some weekly charts, compare differences in strength, weakness, and OBV and RSI, the two main indicators I'm looking at lately. Before we get into that though, please like this video. Smash the likes, guys. Also share and subscribe, trying to get the word out and the message out and trying to help people understand how to read charts, how to think like a trader and become traders. So let's get in to this. We had some interesting action on the Bitcoin price chart. Right as equities opened, we smashed down and we got as low as just under 40k on Bitfinex. Most other exchanges are just below 40k, so it's a new low. We are down 43% from the high of 69k. And the big question is, will this level hold? We have recovered since. Look at that volume candle on the hourly. So it got bought up pretty heavily. And you see it both on RSI strength. Now RSI has now come up above 35 on the hourly with an OBV kick too. So it's a good sign. Will this continue? It very well could. Or will it continue to range? It very well could. No one knows, but we are, I think this is a really good opportunity point. We saw CRV even get down to just under $4, just at $4 on some of the exchanges. But some opportunities. Let's look at SPX before we get into the weekly charts. S&P is under pressure as well. Now it's recovered a little bit, but see this line I'm looking at here. Again, we had a higher high, not quite higher high here, but let's just call it candle body higher high on lower RSI, and then we made we dropped and made a new high on relatively higher RSI but lower than November. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here, but I am expecting a blow off top. Now that's my speculator hat, if you will. That's not looking at it like a trader. That's looking at it as an analyst and as a speculator expecting something. So, we'll see. I do think this is jump at the top though. And as long as Fed is printing and interest rates are held low, I think asset prices go up. Is my general underlying idea or my view on the markets. So I'm expecting blow-offs here and recovery in Bitcoin at some point. Now we broke 40k. We're down 43% from 69k. Do we need to go down to the end of the 30s before we get a real relief? Spring. We'll see. Again, no one knows. What I wanted to show you though was something I was looking at last night on weekly charts. And let's take a look at our watch list. Now this is a personal watch list of mine. It has a bunch of stuff on it, but what I wanted to run through with you is a comparison of obviously price. And then let's look at RSI and OBV indicators. And you're going to see some relative charts, and there's one thing special I have for you today, and that is I'm going to present what I think is the best looking chart in crypto. And I'll show you why. Starting with Cardinal. Obviously a big run up from 10 cents. We know it was at 2 cents in whenever. But ran to as high as $3. But since that point, that was a higher high and lower RSI. Relative, see, we had strength, and it was a lower RSI. Higher OBV though, so it was being accumulated. This OBV is selling off. So this pattern is what I want you to take a look at. This OBV shows me that the volume on the sell side here, was it as much or more or less than the volume on the buy side, say for this pump here. Now I would say on Cardano, yeah, this entire move from July has been sold off. And not just on price, it's back to its price, but it's lower on OBV. So net on net to me, what this says is that the sellers, the accumulated sell volume since $3 is more than the accumulated buy volume from its run from July. So that is something to pay attention to, and I want to show you. I'll show you a couple charts where it's pretty significant. But that's Cardano. What do I think about Cardano? it's up, it's high. It had 150x run to $3. Does this come up? To me, I think if Bitcoin gets a retrace, what I would hope for here is a move up to some level up here. Maybe you get that back to $2. And I just don't see it. I am seeing in the RSI on the weekly, this did bottom here at 25 and it did break the 35. To me, that's the signal, is when you come up from the bottom side of RSI and you break 35, you know, that's what I like to see. I want to see that. That's a good signal for me for the bulls or an entry. So if this RSI comes up, it could very well go on and do something big. But again, there are other charts I like better than Cardinal, and I'll show you those as we get in here. Let's look at Akita. Wow, it's really cooled off since its high point here of 675 or so. That was with kind of that Halloween time frame with the dog coins that ran. It's sold off, but look again, the RSI is down to 36. But look at this OBV for profile. The buy volume net on net was up since there, a new level, and then next level up. The sell volume, we just looked at Cardinal. The sell volume, net on net sell volume, was lower or less than the buy volume. So this is still being held, in my opinion. That's how I see it. So someone might have to explain that to me in better so that I understand it differently, but that's how I see it. I see this sell volume on Akita as lower net on net than the accumulation by volume. So it's still being held. Algorand. Look at that. Now this is a decent chart. We're still below this old level back from 2019. But based at around 15-16 cents up to 250, maybe even almost 3 here, and it's down. Again, we had a higher high on lower RSI. RSI has not fully reset yet, but look at the OBV profile. It's still being relatively accumulated, and even in the period since September of this year, as the prices dropped, the net volume selling on this has not been more than the buyers. So it's still being held, and OBV is showing some strength. So there's some strength here. If this gets a recovery, I expect this to do pretty well. So if you're asking me, I like this chart better than ADA. AR, again, I don't know anything about this except for the chart, but relatively new project, up from $9 almost to 10x, call it, and it's ranging here. May need an RSI reset here, but OBV is still hanging up here pretty high. Atom, Cosmos, look at this relative strength. That's what's interesting here, is that this looks like, we just looked at charts that looks just like this, with 2 lows and a sell-off. But this is showing relative strength. However, look at this. OBV is not coming in strong. So this upside, this buy side, is on lower volume than even probably the selling. We can look at volume. I just didn't want to cloud the chart too much, but Coinbase updated it. I don't know if you guys saw that, but we even have moving average now on RSI. See that? This SMA 14. I hit it for this, but that's interesting. And I did talk about a moving average on the RSI a while ago, looking at the grand cycle. Interesting to look at, so check that out when you're looking at your charts. AVAX. Cooling off, but OBV hanging up there. So the sell volume to me is pretty low volume sell-off. Do I like it as a chart? It's pretty high, right? Look, $3 to $8.90. That's a 30. It ran 30x, guys. I'm not chasing a 30. I'm just not chasing a 30x. Is it a decent? Could it be a decent trade on on relative strength? It could be, but just realize where it is in this chart. Axe Infinity, wow, all the way back. Notice this RSI cool off all the way down to, we're at 36. and OBV all the way back. So this project to me has sold off its accumulation. You see that? So RSI is relative strength, but OBV is on balance volume. So the net, to me, the net selling here, because OBV is back to this range back here, the sellers have now sold this pump off. It's not the best predictive tool, but it's more of an analytics tool to tell you kind of what's going on and who's in control and what's happened. But this level here is, yeah, we're back to here. I mean, is it a good entry? Is it a good project? I don't know. Is it a good chart? What I would like to see is something like that. When you break up, I want to see RSI coming up. That shows strength. This shows weakness. The slope of the RSI can tell you strength or weakness. And that's that. Bitcoin Cash. Oh, Bitcoin Cash. Look at this, guys. We are down from 1600. From 1600 down to 367. The OBV is now back to its pre-pump level back here. So what this tells me, this entire move was sold off. It was sold off in here, basically. And will we find strength? I think if we do get a Bitcoin retrace, I'm hoping that this does pop. Some of these classics, you come up like that. So we're going to start going a little faster. I'm not sure if it is real time. Let's look at Bitfinex chart. We're showing some strength here on this bounce. So maybe that's it. It's good. I missed my CRV at $4, but that's fine. Yeah, look at that. Came up. It's pretty strong. I don't know what OBV is. I think it just needs to reset here. Yeah, look at that OBV kick up on this trend. It'll be a little bit longer video today, guys, but bear with me. I'm trying to fly through weekly charts. I want to get to the best looking chart that I could find. So there's Bitcoin. Look at that. We're back. Guys, wow. A little scary this morning. But we're back. Is this the spring that we needed? A lot of these corrections, when you look back, a lot of them, I'm just going to draw it for you. A lot of these corrections look like, and then a final spring. I'm not sure if you need double lobe, but a lot of them, that's what they look like. And that's what we're seeing on the daily for Bitcoin. BTT. Okay, let's go back to weekly. Sorry, I deviated there, guys. Yeah, this was, high hopes for this back in April. Pumped hard. But OBV's hanging up. If this OBV were back to these levels, I'd say like this whole thing got sold back off. So it's hanging relatively in the top range. You did get an RSI drop here in November. Kind of a kiss and a move up. Is that enough? Does it start moving up? It could. CRV. This is one of the reasons why I like this. But look at the OBV profile. And look how this is different than most everything we've looked at. What is it? It's trending up. And I can't figure out how to get play on here. Let's just drop it in here. It's not climbing. On lower time frames, I have seen profiles, like I think it was on that daily. We saw a couple profiles that were strengthening, but it's relatively strong, and you have a lot more green candles than red, so that's why your OBV is going up. So you're showing relative strength. It's a little bit concerning on the weekly that this is a higher high and lower RSI, but I think this has a lot more potential actually to get a relief run if Bitcoin gets a retrace. If Bitcoin can bounce and alts do better than Bitcoin, then I think this can kick up. And look at that. I mean, it's to 13. That's a 3x. We looked at this earlier and it was like a built-in 5x. I think that was to golden zone. But yeah, so basically what I would like to see is a move up to golden zone here. And even if it's on lower RSI, that's fine. But with OBV climbing, that is promising. I mean, just look at the, oh shoot, what did I do? Can't undo it either, guys. That's okay, we have other charts. If you look at, the, what was I gonna say? Oh, just look at the relative OBV strength. So CRV has a strengthening profile on OBV. Meanwhile, some charts have a consolidation at the top, and some have a complete sell-off. I'll show you a couple of those. So where do I want to be? I want to be where people are accumulating, versus going into a project that has a new low with no volume and waiting and hoping and expecting. That's a different strategy, and it can work. But yeah. Casper, this was another chart that looked pretty strong. And I'll tell you why. Clear those indicators. No, I'm getting the wick in here, that's the problem. But let's just do this quickly here. See where it is in the chart? It has a lot of, to go to 60 cents, it's like a 5x to that point. And we have RSI coming up from the bottom. This is a weekly chart. I like that. RSI is building. So this is ranging on the bottom, building, and OBV is, no, it's up. It's up from these points down here. But, you know, it's relatively strong. Recently it's sold off here, but decent looking chart. I like it. Civic. You're going to see a lot of these. But look how all this entire move is on almost no volume. That's why this OBV hasn't moved at all. And OBV is just hanging up here at the top. So this hasn't been sold off. This move hasn't really been sold off because the volume, the net volume, because OBV is basically just a volume accounting accumulator tool, where if you have a red candle, it subtracts, green candle, it adds, and then it adds by the sum total of the volume. So if it's a big volume number, then it's a big green add. If it's a big green, then it's a big green add. If it's a big red, then they subtract. That's all it does, is it's cumulative. So you can see kind of this trend of accumulation or distribution. And this hasn't really, there's no volume here, so nothing's coming in yet. But, can we get a reset on RSI, or do we even just bottom here and go? There is some potential here on CVC. It's a classic though. Dash, same thing. See the OBV profile up and actually building here? That's semi-bullish. Look, 150. I like Dash. I like this weekly candle last week. A nice green candle. It adds some relative strength too. Off the bottom here, it's been hanging pretty well. Digibite. Now this one. Digibite. It had a low of like 0.3 cents up to 18 cents. Big run. And now RSI is reset. OBV's down. See that? OBV's down to about here. So basically, again, that shows me that this move was sold off. See how the volume is pretty high here? So the whole thing here was sold off. Will it get another cycle? Probably. I think RSI is low here. I would like to see this turn and come through 35 on the low side. Doge. This is an interesting chart. Obviously, we're down a lot, but the volume here, no one's selling this. Look at that. OBV is up here. It's not under heavy distribution. And the RSI is low, but I think this could pop again. And don't forget, guys, SHIB, Akita, Doge, when these run, this is the profile. It reminds me of XRP's pumps sometimes. SHIB's run, its first one was what, 5 days? The second one was what, 4 days? Or was it the first one was 4 days and the second was 5? When it pumps hard and then it's done. So I think it can happen again. We're not going to look at DOS. This thing is just Polkadot. OBV's up. Look, OBV's up. This hasn't really been sold off. The selling is, it hasn't, I mean, it has, it did sell off this recent move here, but it's not like it's trending down. I wouldn't say OBV is trending down on DOT, Polkadot. Am I interested? Nah, I missed it. I mean, it's up from, I mean, it's a decent project. If it were to show relative strength, see, it hasn't really, the last few weeks, as Bitcoin's been falling, it hasn't really shown relative strength. Not to me. So, I don't know what's going to happen with DOT, but Dragon. Now, this is an interesting project, but see how, like, so the RSI is below 35. I think if we come up here, it may be a good entry. But not something I'm particularly interested in. But man, it really pumped hard. And it could do it again. Very well could. So let's look at Dixie just because on the weekly, we did fall off the kind of this ledge. Notice RSI is now dropped below 65, so maybe this falls. I'm not going to get into the macro stuff about interest rates and whatever, but you know, falling dollar value will be good for all assets. ENJ, clear some of this. This looks a lot like, looks a lot like Cardinal actually, because you had a basing period here, a low, and then a run and two lows. But again, look at OBV. It hasn't really been sold off heavy. All of this buy volume is kind of baked into the price. ETC. This is another classic, kind of from its high point in May of what, $175 down to 28. RSI is below 35. I'd like to see it come up. I'd like to see volume start coming in. I'd like to see OBV kind of reverse this trend. But again, the sell-off here it hasn't sold off the move from here, if that makes sense. If OBV were to come down to here, then you'd say, this whole move was sold back off. And it's not sold off yet. You know, a lot of these projects that haven't sold off all the way back kind of ties to my grand idea, or my grand view of the market needing one last push. And then for people to finally sell off the accumulation from the earlier periods. Ethereum, we haven't looked at this ever. Look at Ethereum. I want to see what the weekly MA is on Ethereum. Look at that, guys. It's interesting. I hadn't looked at this before. We are now kissing the 50 MA weekly on Ethereum. We know where Bitcoin is. This is not, I forgot to bring this up. We're going to switch to Bitcoin here. This is not good for me, guys. I do think we get a relief. Now, whether that looks like that or whether that looks like that, we'll see. But this, or whether that looks like that, I mean, do we get rejected on the bottom side of the 50? I don't, honestly, guys, I don't like this. This isn't good. While we're here, and sorry, I know we're jumping around, but let's take a look at in history. Broke, had a range, came up, kissed it, rejected. Stayed below it for a long time. You finally broke above, you ranged, but then you kind of rode it here. This period, this was the COVID crash. You broke it, and then this is what I'm looking at for here. See this? See this full body out, and then you have a big flush, and then it took some time to get back. That's why I drew what I did, because this wasn't straight back up. This was down and angle up. So that's why I drew this like this. Do we need some time to build strength? A lot of things in play, but let's go back to Ethereum. Kiss the 50 MA weekly. That's interesting because I hadn't seen that before. But Can we get a reset and a push up? OBV is showing signs of relatively strong selling from this top. 46. Filecoin. RSI down to 28. Heavy selling. Look at that. So when you're looking at like, hey, should I get in a Filecoin? Well, look at this. All of this accumulation, basically, has been, all of this accumulation has been sold off. The selling is pretty heavy. But does it get a pump? It might. It's pretty low. I would wait for relative strength. That's me. FLM. Man, this thing has just been sideways for a long time. It has been, OBV has been kind of ranging the top here, but it's just been selling. It hasn't really run. I mean, it did move up from 14 cents to $1.20 or yeah, whatever. So maybe it's an 8x or something, but not showing relative strength here. Okay, this is the one I want to show you guys. This is the profile that's eye-opening to me. Not the strongest chart, no. This is something else. Okay, two things about Floki. This entire pump here, and this is what I want to say. Floki moved here on almost on the day that Bitcoin Floki moved hard the day that SHIB and Akita topped. So if you're looking for a dog pivot, you might move from SHIB and Akita into Floki to get a pump here. But look, this whole move, this OBV is down. It slopes down. This entire move has been sold off. So that to me is not strength. FTM, look at this. This move, I did pick some up here on a dip because it was showing relative strength here. This is a huge candle. But again, it did turn red last week, and then here we are. So yeah, I think we get a move. But realize the conditions of the RSI. We are trending down, and OBV is now cooling. So I think this gets a move, but it's not going to be very strong. So be ready to get out. We're going to move a little faster. I don't want this to be a forever video, but I wanted to try and go through weekly charts. I want to do this every Monday. Look, again, Gala. I can't even get an RSI, but Gala has been sold off completely on OBV. So this pump here, I guess this is enough to sum these two. This is enough red to bring the OBV back. Is it a good entry? If you like the project, 30 cents. Remember when it came out and back in November at around 40 cents, I liked it from here, but it's back there, so. H-bar. Oh, all these charts, guys, this looks the same. Two lows. And what's going on here? You have your OBV is back to where it was here. Not a lot of volume. RSI cooling. Hero. Looks like Gala, sort of. All the way down. I don't even know what HNT is. It's up there. Look, it's run from $1.40 to $50. OBV's hanging up there. Showing some relative strength. This is a weekly 50. And I think at one point, like this from middle of December, it was kind of running back up. Hollow chain. I'm just gonna take this 50 back off. Below the 50. Volume cooling, RSI down. Does it get another run? I don't know. It already did. It did. From here to here, it was a huge run. And then that's been relatively sold off. And RSI is hanging at around 30, 40, 35. ICP. That's what I'll show you later. IOST. Two lobes, heavies, relatively heavy selling. Now it's still accumulated. This whole run hasn't been sold off, but relatively not strong. It's been selling off with Bitcoin. KDA, big pump here in November. Been down since. Now Link has been showing relative strength. This is what I want to one thing I want to show you. This RSI bounced at around 35 in here and made a higher low. Notice that. This is a low, that's a higher low. You know, it's relatively strong. It's a slow mover though. A lot of people have been waiting on Link for quite some time, but good project too. LRC just being sold off here from the last couple months. Go a little bit faster. Litecoin. Jeez, looks like a double top. Deep drop. Just hanging here. 127. This LBV trend is up though. I mean, if you look at it, like it's been sold off here recently. The one thing I would say about Litecoin is when it pumps, it usually means the cycle's over. So next time Litecoin is in the news, next time everybody's talking about Litecoin, be looking for exits. Luna. Wow, look at this thing. Look at OBV's up, and it is down recently, but that's Anna. RSI dropped. OBV's cooling. Does this get another run? Probably get some. All-time high, not sure. Matic. Look how high this is. From 0.6 up to $3 in a year. Okay. I'm not interested. I'm not gonna buy that. Near's up 11% today. I don't know why I can't pull it up. I don't know if TradingView just crashed on me. Let's go to Near. Near's up 11% today, showing some really good relative strength. Wow, we have a lot to cover here, guys. I'm gonna try to go quickly, but look at that. So look at this chart and see what was going on in here, and then also, you know, as a leader, what you're looking for, it is up there. You know, from 60 cents to $15, it's up there, but it's showing relative strength. So this, that's very interesting. OBV is up. You know, it's obviously down a little bit here, but looks good. Neo, man, $140 down to $23. OBV's just cooling off. This volume is not. It's not enough to. It's enough to move the price, but it's not enough to. It's being sold. All this is being sold off. Will it turn? Look, I think that we saw some relative strength build here, and I do like this break above 35. That's a signal for me, but then it just got sold off again. So will it move? I think it will, but you know, are we, you know, I would want the OBV to turn around. So what I would look for is this. I'd draw something like this. Say, okay, we break that line. I want to see that. I want to see this turn. I want to see volume come in. I want to see this being bought. Same for OMG. This entire move to the airdrop got sold off. Look. See OBV back here, up here, down. Now, if this breaks up the bottom side of the RSI track, then show me some strength. Show me some volume coming in, because right now it's nothing but sellers. And one. Relatively strong, hanging in there. 10. pay. Just ranging sideways. Really, relatively no volume. Populous. Look how cooked that is. Weekly RSI of 14. When this moves, it'll move. But I think if it moves, look for a place to get out. Same for QDIM. A lot of these charts just look like heavy selling. You know, it's just heavy selling. However, QDIM is holding on the OBV. The sell-off volume is not as strong as the, you know, it's not super heavy selling. So I do like QDIM. If this can turn again, just want to see SRs. I build. Want to see some volume come in. You know, for me. RBN. We're gonna skip some here, guys. REN. A lot of these charts look very similar. REN, sand. Sand is being sold off, but look at the volume is so low that the volume is so low it does not move in OBV. But look, it's up from 4 cents. 4 cents. It's sitting at 100x right here, entrance, you know, into the chart. That's not something I buy. C-Coin. When this moves, it moves, but look, the volume's not there, really, and I don't want to see a volume coming in. SHIB, same thing, we're cooked on RSI. See how we're ranging? Like this isn't back to these levels. Like these two pumps. This one. Oh, I'm on the daily now, guys, I'm sorry. Yeah, this is that 3 days, 5 days type pump. But look, OBV took a leg up. Now this has cooled off some. There's some sellers that are selling this off. On price, it sold off. On balance volume, we're back. You know, we are back to here. So this move got sold off. But look how cooked RSI is. 25 on the daily. I guess we'll just stand daily now. SLP, wow, just nothing but down. Look at that. If you like cheap crypto, this could be it. But look, all this volume is selling. As you can see on the chart, see OBV is way down here. But with a daily RSI of 10, that's low. Usually means a good time to make an entry if you like the project. Okay, synthetics. I like the relative strength here until our sell-off here. I do like this, but it's not looking great right now. I don't know where this needs to go, but this whole move got sold off. And it was showing really nice relative strength. It looked a lot like, say, FTM. Once we do get a retracement, if we do, and once we do, you know, we'll have to kind of like watch the back. Solana, look at this profile. And again, I'm on daily now. I switched. This entire move up to 260 now has been sold off, and in fact, yeah, this whole thing was kind of like SHIB, but you know, this is down. I want to see it at least go sideways and then build. If this comes up, you know, this could move up. I'm not sure if it makes a new all-time high. If Bitcoin retraces, this might not get enough liquidity. Yep, there. Sushi was showing really strong relative strength at $10 and sold off. T-Fuel. You know, it's had its day. It's up from, you know, 0. So it's up infinitely. You know, it's up from fractions of a penny to... It's sitting at an 8x from these old lows. I know a lot of people are in from here. But, will this turn? I think, you know, the volume is not really there. Let's switch over to the weekly finally here, but you're just not seeing the volume here. So does that mean it's just gonna have a miracle pump? It very well could. This comes up, the RSI turns, we get a little volume here. RSI turns, it could really turn on the steam. And do we make a new high? I don't know. betas in this channel here. 75 cents. Kind of basing on the RSI. No volume. That's like a lot of these. I don't know what's going on at the moment for Bitcoin, but on the weekly we're down. Or no, that's day. We're still down. Alright, UFT. Again, this whole, look at this whole on the OBV. And why I'm doing this, guys, is I'm trying to walk you through my thought process as I look through charts. And so you can do this on your own and say, let's look at this, let's look at that. What does it say? This mini move here in July, August. This didn't really get a move up from July. Didn't get liquidity. This whole thing's been sold off. OBV's back down here. So if you like this project and we start to see some strength, yeah, it could really move. Where it is in the chart, I like it. It's not baked way up high. 375, it's 7x to that level. So if this turns and kind of makes a new cycle, or it comes up here with the Bitcoin retrace, could be good. UMA, this was interesting because we had those scam wicks or whatever you want to call them. Yeah, I just traded my sushi for it. It's not a huge whatever, but you know, it moves. I'm basing at this old level. You know, do we come down here to $6-7? Maybe. We need this to come down, reset before we move up again. Maybe. VeChain. See, look at this again. See this over and over. This LBD profile. The selling from this move up, this accumulation, call it. The selling of that has not been on high volume. Not enough to bring this back. So what I mean by that is, if this were here, I'd say, well, everybody got out, but it's not. So people are still in. Let's get another run. Good. I'd like to see again on like all the charts. I'd like to see this start to show some strength. Voyager, VGX, nothing but down. VIDT. Yeesh. Waves. Wow, look at that. This whole thing double top on the candle body and then just down. OBV hanging up there though. This is pretty cooked. I'm like no volume. And one thing to think about is if this down move is on relatively no volume, it doesn't take much for it to turn around because it's not. The amount of volume that the candle has, to me, is like momentum or strength. Wax. Look at that where it is in the cycle. You know what, wax was like $5 back in the day. Wow. XCM, NEM. We are getting an RSI below 35. OBV high, so this one might be one to watch. Look at where it is in the cycle. I don't know why this is speaking to me right now, but I probably won't be in NEM. XLM hanging out. OBV kind of ranging up here. This whole move really hasn't sold off. So yeah, I think this will one day finally get a run. Doesn't look that bad. I know that a lot of people are negative on it. It looks a lot like Litecoin. Look at the double top and the drop. I think it looks a lot like XRP too. Yeah, here we go. Well, XRP didn't actually get to this top, but you know, this has been sold off. However, I think this, I'm bullish on XRP. You know, where we are in the chart, that's $3. You know, we know the old all-time high is $3. It's the top 10, whatever it is now, 20, 30, 40 project. I think with the SEC resolution, this might get a run. Okay, we're almost there, guys. XTZ, Tezos, showed some relative strength, kind of a tease. But notice that, this is one thing I want to point out on Tezos that I didn't really see before. This profile, I need to change my color. This profile is down, so it's heavy selling. So just notice that. It does have a bounce off the low. And, you know, can it climb? I don't know. I want to see this trend resolve and move up. YFI, flip, Zcash, again, look at where it is in the chart. And it has had some volume. OBV, look, OBV is trending up. This isn't a bad chart. It's not the most glamorous chart, but from 144 up to 945. What is that, a 5x? 6 maybe? 7? This is not a bad chart. I'll take a look at that again. ZIL, all with that, from 26 cents to 6 cents. Wow. And then time. I think this is the one. We need to zoom in on this one. Let's go like 4 hour. I'm not getting a very good chart here. I thought I added it, but that's not that. So I guess that's it for the weekly chart review. I realize this is like 45 minutes long now, but let me show you what I think is the best looking weekly chart. ICP, guys. You know, I got some here on this candle dip here, but let me show you the weekly. This is what I want to see. Okay, here we go. We've cooked. We've fallen from $630. We're ranging at the bottom. What sticks out to me is this candle right here. This volume candle is huge. You're on increasing volume. You have an OBV trend break right here. See that? OBV trend break, and you're coming up from the bottom. You've been below 35 for quite a while, and you're finally poking up from the bottom. I like that. Man, I think honestly, this thing could have a 5-10x baked in. I mean, it's $35. Here's 10x right here. And on this volume profile, I mean, this is where liquidity is flooding in. And there's some other fundamental reasons for ICP. It's an L1, I think. And the fundamentals for the project are that it's it's internet protocol, and you have it's a DEX, I think, and decentralized platform for internet websites and such. So there is a strong fundamental case for this project, but what I like in the chart is, look, volume's up. Strong relative strength recently with Bitcoin's correction, and OBV broke trend, RSI coming up from the bottom. Those are all the things I like to see. And so I'm not super heavy here. I kind of wish I was more, but I'll probably be looking at this harder for more, to buy some more here. And again, this is what I think is the best looking chart that I can find in crypto right now, because you're seeing relative strength come building. You're seeing OBV break trend and building. This heavy volume candle and a lot of buyers here. So will it continue? That's the speculation part. I think it will, but I do like where it is in the chart. It's not sky high, it's really low, and I think there's a fundamental reason why this is a good project. One last look at Bitcoin. We'll wrap this up, guys. I don't want to make an hour video, but so this dip got bought up pretty heavily. We're back to the range. So is that, are we gonna spring? Can the bulls step in and take this? We shall see. But let's look at I wanted to look at the daily profile back here. I think, is that just a double bottom? What we're gonna do is we're gonna take this horizontal array and get the magnet tool. I can get it right there. 39,678. Again, this is Bitfinex. 39,678, and the low was 39,673. So technically it's a new low here, but by a few dollars. So are we tap, and do we go up now? One other thing, and then this is the last thing I want to show you guys, but turn back it off. From this top here, I don't know how is that, and I know the whole thing about horizontal and angled lines, but in my system, you break. Is this just another retest of the bottom? And we have a horizontal line here. Will this hold? Can we get some relief? You know, will this step up and do one of these, or not? Do we need to come down here before we move up? You know, that is TBD. But anyways, guys, that's all I had for you today. Enjoy the video. Please, again, like it if you liked it. Give me some feedback on the weekly chart review. I know it was lengthy. I'll work on that. But hope I provided some info and some insight into helping you be a better trader and be a better analyst of charts. And enjoy your Monday. And let's go crypto. Let's get a good bounce here. Let's see what we can do. And I will talk to you guys later. Goodbye.